Let me ask you a question. Do you ever feel guilty when you're not at the office? See, unfortunately, entrepreneurs often feel a sense of guilt when they're not producing, when they're not out there making things happen, because we know it's such a blessing. We know we have control over our direction, but so much of our life revolves around the love of our services, the love of our products. And so we get so wrapped up in doing, and we get so wrapped up in what we do, because we recognize that everything relies upon us. We don't have, the advantage of having a company to support us. So when we take time off, money's not being made. Or if we have systems that are producing money, we feel like we could be making more, or we could be doing more, or we have creative ideas we want to explore. What happens is sometimes you start to feel burned out, right? You start to feel a sense of frustration. You start to feel a sense of self-doubt. And a lot of entrepreneurs go through this. I've talked to so many people that face this. Now, this does not apply to everyone, but I think every entrepreneur has faced it at some point. Now, if they're honest with you, they're going to share that with you, and they're going to let you know that that's the case. See, this is the challenge of entrepreneurship. If you can find your way past this, it can be so liberating. You promised yourself that life of flexibility and freedom, extra money. Oh my gosh, being an entrepreneur is going to be so great. But sometimes what you wear is a big anchor around your neck. And that anchor is hidden in the fact that, yes, you get the pride of saying it's yours, and you get the pride of building something that you love. But is it really giving you the life you dreamed of? I faced this in my own business, in my own life. I was so passionate about running a business. I started a business that was trading time for money because it was the easiest way for me to create a business. And then I got sucked into that model for years. And when I realized what an anchor that was, when I realized how I was limited, I could only grow this high. I couldn't get beyond that. Even with a team to support me, my business was not scalable because I was taking one-off engagements, which were very time consuming and really sucked the life out of me. And when I was working on those, I wasn't prospecting, bringing in other business. That's why online marketing is so appealing, because there's scale possible and there's a lot of things that come with it. But that in itself isn't necessarily the answer. I think the answer lies in something I've discovered for myself: getting clear. Take time to focus on what you really want, but more importantly, why you want it, and then what you want that to look like. If that flexibility and freedom is important to you, that 4-day work week, the proverbial 4-day work week that so many people say does not exist, well, there's people out there living it. I just interviewed a gentleman on Boss Academy Radio by the name of Jonathan Rivera, who truly epitomizes the 4-day work week. He owns a real estate investment company. He also owns the Podcast Factory. And the really interesting thing about him is he has created a lifestyle business around something he loves, and it's given him so much. You can have that if that's what you want, but you have to be willing to build a business that allows you to experience that. Sometimes you're so fixated on what you're doing now that you don't see that there's another way. Well, that's why planning is so important. That's why idea sessions are so important. My friend Rajesh Sethi, who's an amazing, inspiring entrepreneur and author, and somebody I just adore as a person, he focuses on to think lists. He doesn't just do to-do lists. He wants to make sure that if there's something he wants to take time to really analyze, he's going to spend some time thinking about it, meditating on it, and really digging in as to what he wants to accomplish with it. I think that's such a great lesson. Taking time to think, taking time to clear your head. If you get wrapped up in this idea that I have to be doing, and you're not thinking or not planning, you may never break free of what you've been facing. I was in a major rut where all I was doing was doing for the sake of doing. And it was leading me down this path of, like, instead of going forward, all of a sudden I see myself going backwards. I'm going, what's going on here? So I had to take time to sit down and figure out what I really wanted to accomplish. Boss Academy Radio came out of that. Boss Academy transformations came out of that. Because see, what I've discovered is that I want to help make an impact in the lives of the entrepreneurs. I want to help them realize that it's the stuff that's up here in your head. It's in your heart. It's the mind, the body, the spirit. Those things are the anchor if they're not nurtured, if you're not focusing on getting clarity on what's going on up here and where you want to take things. So I would encourage you that if you feel guilty when you're not at work, which often happens, I faced it. I still have times where I face it. But I have 2 young kids at home, and I want to make sure I'm there for them. I want to make sure that they remember me. So I make a priority to be with them as much as I can. But my business is also a priority because I know that the success of it is dependent upon me. In the end, though, I want to surround myself with good people. Alex Sharfin, who's become somebody that I view as a mentor and somebody that I view as a really amazing thought leader that's changing so many people's lives. I see his videos and they inspire me, and they inspire me to reach out to you. And I want to share that because if you don't know about Alex Sharfin, he created the entrepreneurial personality type, and it is a great mission and a great company. So entrepreneurialpersonalitytype.com. And I would encourage you to check out what Alex is doing. But in addition, recognize that you have control over where you take your business. You have control over where you take your life. Just because you're down a path that is holding you back or you're reaching resistance doesn't mean that's the end. But you went there once, you created your own company, you can go back to the drawing board and you can adapt. And you can take that same business that's a rut today, that's an anchor, and turn it into something that really gets you to your next level. And that's something that I've spent the last 1.5 years really focusing upon. And I encourage you to do the same thing. So remember, find yourself some free time to take and create a to-think list. What are some of the things you want to spend some time thinking about? And don't just sit there and think about them. Think about what you want to accomplish with it. Think about why you want to do it, why it's important to you, and where you want to go with it. Get clear, create a plan, and move forward. But if you think small, you're going to achieve small. If you think big, you can fall short and still achieve great things. So I would encourage you to think bigger than you have and think about what's the ultimate objective for your business. If it means that you've got that 4-hour work week, or you've got one day off where you can go spend time golfing or spending time with your family, and you think you can do that, create your business around that. You may not be able to achieve exactly what you want, but I guarantee it's going to be better than what you have today. So don't feel guilty when you're not at the office. Recognize that you deserve to clear your head. And in fact, if you don't clear your head and don't clear your mind, you're going to be anchored down in ways that you don't want, that's going to take you backwards. And I know what it's like to feel like that. Don't allow yourself to get there. And if you do recognize that's the rut you're falling into, just realize that that's your trigger. That's your reminder. I need to take time to think. My name is Paul Kirch, host and founder of Boss Academy Radio and Boss Academy Transformations. You can find us out at bossacademy.com. I want to thank you for listening in. BOSS stands for Business Ownership Success Strategies, and that's what everything we do is about. So I hope you recognize that coming to Boss Academy, you're going to get a lot of great tools, tips, insights that are going to help you in your business. We think entrepreneurs can save the world. You play such an important role in the economy. And you know what? We want to be the last boss you'll ever need. Thanks again. I hope you have an amazing day. And let me know if I can help you or if this message was helpful to you. I really appreciate the feedback.